I will now be adding multi-factor authentication. Firstly, I'll make sure it has to verify using SSH key and a password, and then I'll be adding Google Authenticator. The reason for adding Google Authenticator is because after testing the server, I have come to the conclusion that the security on it is simply not strong enough, as if an attacker gains the password and the SSH key, they can then backdoor access into the server and account whenever they feel like. However, using Google Authenticator, which has constantly changing keys that have to be and codes that have to be entered to allow each, and this code will be different every time you log in. This will stop an attacker from abusing the same login details to perhaps steal or modify data. So first, I had to open the SSH config. Once I had opened it, I went down to the line that challenge response authentication and I had to change the no to yes so that it would then challenge the response of the authentication. Once I had done that, I then had to come to the end of the file and make sure to add the public key as an interactive method as to log in. I then needed to test this, and so I used the private key for webmaster to log in and entered the password, and as you can see, I was allowed access. So first, and now I wanted to install Google Authenticator. So I installed Google's PAM, which stands for Pluggable Authentication Module, by first updating the server and then installing the Google Authenticator. Once I had installed it, I had to run it using the command as shown here, Google Authenticator. Then asked me if the token should be time-based, which I agreed to. Therefore, there'll be constantly new codes that had to be. And in case of error or failure, it gave me a secret key, a verification, and emergency codes that I can use so that I can log in regardless if I lose access to the Google Authenticator. I then wanted to ensure that you had to use the authenticator when logging in, and so I had to enter this piece of code to ensure that it will require Google Authenticator to authorize you as a user. And as shown here, when I logged in again with my webmaster on another client, it required the private key, a password, and the verification code from my Google Authenticator app, which I had then connected to the server. To the server. And once I entered the code, it welcomed me into the server yet again.